What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916, getting down fresh out. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. You know how we do it over here. I got my man back on again, King Tanc. You know, we did a little interview earlier last year, kind of talking a little bit about something, but he couldn't really get into detail. But now he's coming back. He's got a lot to talk about. Cocaine quarterback. Tanc, man, go ahead and let the people know what's cracking, man.
Oh, man. You know, it's been a minute, huh? We were a year since we did this. Yeah. I couldn't really tell much about it then because obviously we had the documentary coming out. We had a lot of big things in the works. But yeah, I'm back now, man. Documentary was a hit. Everybody's loving it. Obviously, it's going to a movie now. But a lot of good things in store. And also, it's a game changer to watch that, kind of understand the levels. There's levels to this, you know what I'm saying, and what we've been doing and what I was on and what we on now. So definitely for those that's out there, they can see a big change and know that, you know, life is good, man. God is good, man. You know, blessed, man, making it back to the scene.
And you know, for those who don't understand like the game at different level, I mean, you know, our paths are similar. We kind of been in some of the similar circles, but different parts of California, and how things operate and just how we bought into a certain culture and lifestyle. Because, you know, we went from back in the day to breakdancing, popping, you know, just having fun, trying to bust raps. And then, you know, the gangster rap era came, you know, and for your culture, you know, you guys grew up more with the gangs. But for us, it was like, you know, it was more hoods, and then dudes kind of lined themselves based on their hoods. But we bought into something, and, you know, at the time, it feels like it empowers you, but we see down the road how that shit created so much destruction.
Yeah. I mean, it was funny. I was just actually looking at, I don't know if you remember the movies, Beach Street.
Yeah.
And I was just looking, and I was just looking at how, like, compared to where we're at now in the community versus then, and when people would battle it out dancing, right? And even, you know, I want to say the beginning era of my career of obviously getting into the culture, gang banging, and doing all this, you know, silly stuff, you know, or as we were just talking, you know, the youngsters had hands, right? Like that was a rite of passage. You had to get down and do something and had to test that, you know, that manhood. And I think that kind of built real men at some point, right? At least we had to kill each other, but at least you became a man, right? Like your rite of passage. And today is that's gone, right? Like it's literally just, we shoot and kill. We look at, especially like in our community, our lives are like looked at as less than actually what chattel slavery was in the beginning, right? You know, slavery has been around forever, correct? You know, always be, oh, you know, yeah. But chattel slavery was different. You know what I'm saying? It was looked at as less than human. So people can sit around, hang you and burn you and do all these crazy stuff and not even having any emotional feeling, bring their kids to this. You know what I'm saying? So like, we're back to that now. But except it is not, you know, I want to say other races that are at the helm of this. It's us, our race, that is at the helm of lynchings and killings and stuff like that, except we just use guns now, right?
Yeah, you're
Shoot
right.
you 20 times while you're on the ground.
You're right.
Don't even care. You're looked at as less than human. You know what I'm saying? And then I go home and chill with my kids and hang out like it's nothing. So that you know, things got to change.
I was looking at I'm on one of these Instagram profiles, and it's like back like 60s and 70s, and they were showing like black concerts in Harlem with the afros, and everybody dancing, listening to like Betty White, and you know it might be what's his name, Curtis Mayfield, but they were having concerts and people were together and having a good time. Even at the Rucker playing sports, nobody hurt nobody.
No.
You know what I mean? It was thousands of black people, thousands getting together, good time, dancing, music going, everybody enjoying themselves, or dudes out there hooping, people sitting on roofs. And at the end of the day, it was like, look at us. We valued each other for what we had. And that value now, I mean, you know, literally, if there's a concert over at, you know, the stadium, you leave, you can't leave without somebody getting shot. And it's sad, and I'm not knocking, I love our culture, and that's why I do this show. But it's like, man, it's like it went backwards from the 60s and 70s.
Oh, this is the first generation, I think, that we, you know, we're talking about since the civil rights, since we actually got rights to vote and do all these things and use the same bathroom and all that. Each generation left the next generation something, right? Whether it was a car, a house, an education, whatever it was. We worked hard our whole life. Now we're passing this on to you when we pass, and then you move forward, and then so at least the next generation has a house now. Now you have a house. You just got to work on getting your kids a house, so you start owning things. This is the first generations that we're actually going backwards. We have lost everything and some, right? And so when people say, like the civil rights was the whole movement, oh, it was great that we got all this. What was it? Because before the civil rights, we were more educated. You know what I'm saying? We had more black businesses, money turned in our communities, everything. We had solidarity, and we were striving to become more than ever. Then since the civil rights broke, all of a sudden it just got breaking down. Now, obviously there is the codes, black codes and system around us that does all these things, but it's this victim mentality, right? Of, oh, well, it's because of this and because of that, right? And I used to have that victim mentality, right? Because I didn't have a father. That's why I was gangbanging. That's why I was running through the streets, going to prison and doing all the crazy stuff, right? It was a victim mentality, right? I blamed everybody else, but I never wanted to hold myself accountable. It took years. Like I'm 51 now. So like, it took me years before I had to really realize that it isn't them, it's me, right? And I had to change what was going on in here to make the moves that I'm making now, right? And obviously, I'm like, now that I'm home, right? I've been home, a little over 4 years. Came home flat, feds took everything, lost everything. And now I'm like, I'm eating, I'm bubbling, right? But like in the right way, right? Like we started the company, the ice cream company, Ice Protein, going around talking to people, how I invest in the stock market, how I invest in real estate. Things have just changed, right? What's really important now versus what was important then is two different, complete night and day. Back then it was, what car, what rims, what chain, who sees me, who this. Now I don't care who sees me, right? I drive around in a gas saver all day, you know what I'm saying? But I got financial freedom to feed my kids, my family, right? And I'm not worried about what's going on in if I lose my job or whoever, because I've built myself and protected myself in so many ways, which is more important than getting on, like right now, like what we're doing now, social media to shine and look at my chain and all that. And that gets us nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not doing nothing for us.
Yeah, I think, to some degree, you can't go back in time, but like as you put it into perspective or reflect, social media has totally changed the context of what people value and, what people spend time on, and, trying to see how many people liked your picture or video or how many followers and all these things. It's like a false reality, because at the end of the day, if you're taking care of your family, you're prospering, you're building your future. To me, that's the most important thing. So sometimes, like for myself, I just take a step back and I don't even look at it for a couple of days. Only reason I get on there sometimes is to make a video to entertain, certain things on our algorithm. But I look at like, okay, the big picture is, a lot of times, are you doing what you want to do to build yourself, or are you doing what you think people expect you to do?
Right.
And a lot of people are doing what other people expect them to do in order to get favor.
And to add to that, or are you living a lie, right? Mm-hmm. So, for money today, people sell their souls, right? I mean, literally, like just for a chain, a watch, a little money to shine or whatever, like they sell their souls for that, right? On social media, you see it every day. You see young girls on here, just disgracing themselves just for a few likes. Like they're not even getting paid. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, who are you doing this for, right? And this is really you, or are you trying to live in this image because society has said this is okay now, and this is what's good, and this is proper. But is it really? Like when you look back and you're like, man, I don't want to see my daughters growing up like that, doing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even want to see my son doing, these dudes is jumping on here. I mean, man, I flip through social media and I look at some of the craziness, like the glorifying of murders and killing and what I'll do to you and stuff. Like this is the message that your kids is growing up with right now. You know what I'm saying? Like we got social media now, and this is what we use it for. Not like like if you go to China, if you go to these other countries, they're not even allowed. Their algorithm says something totally different. You know what I'm saying? As they're building up these, people, right? These kids, right? Ours is totally different, man. Ours is saying, a man can be a woman can be a man. Religion is fake, or whatever things that have you good and keep you grounded. Yeah. You don't know what to believe anymore, right? Yeah. What's going on right now, right? Yeah. And the masses is getting fed this on a daily. Even if you're not watching it, you hear it. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Yeah. You hate people just because. You know that in politics. Like, you don't even watch social media and you're like, oh, I hate this guy or I hate this person. You don't even know why. Yeah. You don't even know why. You just because you hear it every day. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Like, this is what's going on. The seed is being planted at a young age. Cartoons. When your kids watch cartoons, it's totally different than we watch. Also very simple back in the day, right? Yeah. Like, obviously, there was some little, kind of racial cartoons here and there. But what I'm saying is the message was simple. Now you get into this stuff, and they're digging into, like, sexual behavior. They're digging into, like, some of the most sadistic things. And you're like, come on, man. Like, this, man, what is going on? Like, I sometimes come in there, like, my kids, I don't even allow them to watch. They watch TV maybe 30 minutes a week. And I'm right there with them. Yeah. Like, I literally got to sit down and look at all these cartoons with them and make sure this is okay. No, and I don't care if it's Disney. I don't care if it's whoever you trust. Like, this is what you got to do now. You got to be active on all fronts today because you want to shield and protect your family, your kids, your wife, or whatever's going on.
But, too, the difference was back in the day where if your mom wasn't home, you can go to a neighbor's house and go over there and hang out, have some Kool-Aid sandwich till your mom came home, or hey, if you needed to borrow something, like hey, we need to borrow some sugar for some Kool-Aid, or little stuff. Everybody knew everybody. It was a very community. Even if the person that didn't talk much, you still knew them. Right. You knew your neighbors. The people, all the houses on the block, probably going down to the middle of the street. You knew everybody, right. And there was a sense where, like, if I seen little Tanc over here, I said, did your mom know you over here? You're like, oh, man. Right. I didn't tell my mom. He's like, yeah. Soon you get home, your mom already knew. You were over there. So-and-so done called her already and told her. So it was a different level of just caring and that community feel. And that's the main thing I think is lacking, is that now we don't have that. And then a lot of the youngsters, there's not like the respect. Like, I was always taught by my grandmother, hey, when you go to so-and-so's house, don't touch nothing, don't ask for nothing. Wait till you're offered for something, even if you're thirsty, act like you ain't thirsty. Right. Say respect. Hi, open the door, do this. There's all these little things we were taught as far as mannerisms. And when we went out in public, and then people would be like, wow, you're so well behaved. But that was took pride in that. Now there's no pride. No. They go in the place, they jump over the counters, take the food, throwing stuff, talking crazy, people killing somebody over cold French fries. It's like, dude, this shit is crazy, man.
Yeah, I've seen parents put their kids, I was just looking at something on social media, and she was teaching her kids how to say all these bad words, and crazy stuff, right? And then, I've even had girlfriends that back in the day would be proud, like they would be laugh when they would say, oh yeah, my son was at school today, he cussed the teacher out, and they were okay. I'm like, that's cool? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so this is gonna be the next, gangster, kill somebody or get killed. And then the even more crazy part is that when they either go to jail for life or get killed, right? They're like, I don't know where this come from. What just happened? What do you mean? You started planting this seed as a kid, right? Yeah, as a young, so this is the product of and now you act shocked, right? It's even like, when I think about it, like, man, I've been to so many funerals, like just homies, and like I'm a hood, like in me in LA, I've always been like different hoods. I knew so many people because I get money like that, right? Like that's how I rock. I'm always been about getting the bag, not so much as being a gangster, but getting the bag. The gangster part of me was just for survival, right? Obviously, I need to be grounded with something for protection, but for the most part, that wasn't my forte. Obviously, there's a lot of guys, but their forte is just strictly gangbanging. Like they just, the rules, the conduct, and the career is about that. Mine ain't never been that. I always knew at the end of the day that this wasn't something I want to do, that I would have to hurt another man or whatever case just based on colors or whatever the case is, right? Because I'd have to live with that, right? You got to answer to somebody for that. You know what I'm saying? And so, I've always been on that. That's why I never really could sell, like crack. You know what I'm saying? Crack was like, I watched my community destroyed, uncles, aunties. So like, I never could be that kind of dope dealer, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that on that street level shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to watch it and see it. I was more of a robber, right? Remember? And I was even explaining that. I was on another one, like bank robber. We was hitting banks. We was hitting, licks, jewelry. We was hitting, whatever, robbing the local, dope dealer who had money. It was always all about licks and finessing and moves like that. And here I am later on down the line, and I'm like, man, like, sometimes when I look back, I was like, I don't know how I made it this far. Like how I came, like I literally from, I want to say my teens to now, I have been, if it was in prison, but extremes, right? I've had great jobs, back to prison, great hustles, back to prison. I've been on the crazy gangbang stuff to all the real intellect sitting in, offices with people who like, how did he make it here? You know what I'm saying? But I've always been able to fandango and get in places because I've been a social person. You know what I'm saying? That's just one of my gifts, right? Like I could blend in anywhere. I could talk crazy down here. I could also get very intellectual and sit down with whoever, and make something happen. So I'm a jack of all trades, man. Like I've always been like that. And I just think of all the things I learned from a childhood up to now. And hopefully even one day I can pass this information on to somebody else, right? Like hustles and how to survive, but like on a positive note, what are some fundamental basics that you need as a kid to learn and understand money management, growth, staying in tune with self, right? And who you are grounded, right? Like instead of letting the masses steer you into some crazy sadistic, warped mind thinking, you know what I'm saying? And my track record is what it is. Like when I show you, like I said, I'll give you, when you see those pictures, my penitentiary IDs, my career from juvenile hall all the way up to camps and to 90-day ops and everything else that had to, led to my convictions and going to prison and, and almost, beating, a 30, 40-year sentence, with crazy shenanigans. And, trying to give back to the community and showing like, man, listen, if I can do it, anybody can. You know what I'm saying?
And what would you say like to a youngster? Because I tell people all the time, like, you got to be a chameleon. You got to be able to navigate these different circles. And, even if you don't really care about school, being educated allows you to talk and open doors because people will listen to you. And I've always had a lot of respect for you because you moved in a lot of different circles. Like myself, I go in and I could sit in a place in Newport Beach and be just cool and be talking about investments or talking about travel or cars or whatever the case may be. And I won't feel out of place or intimidated because I've always put myself in positions where I'm probably one of the few people that look like myself there. And also, I always say, get used to being uncomfortable. The more you're used to that, then everything else becomes natural. And those people feel uncomfortable because you can be in either place. I can go over here or I can go over, in the hood and kick it just as well and not feel like I'm scared.
Right.
So, how were you able to maneuver in like that? Because a lot of youngsters don't understand that. You traveled, you've been in other countries. And then you come back, and I know it's a trip because you come back and you look when you look at things different. When you come back, like, damn, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, wow, I just left this, was over here kicking and doing all this crazy, and I'm seeing this. I mean, how does that break down, man?
So I would give first off the rip. I would start with this one. This is beautiful. As a kid, and or you're raising your kid, to get them out of the norm, like you said, right? Like to get them out of their comfort zone, first off. Second, traveling the world is big. Traveling out, even just coming from LA, right? I come from where we just stayed in that little county line. We never left. You know what I'm saying? So everything we knew growing up was right here in LA. Just coming to the Valley, man, when my mom moved to the Valley and I started coming out to the Valley, like my homies would be like, oh man, you out there with the so-and-so people, and you this and you that. I'm like, yo, I'm just 30 minutes away. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? It was a big thing, but coming to the Valley changed me. Schools, getting bused, everything. All of a sudden now I'm more integrated with people that live in nice neighborhoods and have this going on in the background. And you start meeting, it was girls, guys, parents, stuff like that. And you're like, man, wait a minute. It's bigger than that. Like, it is more to it than just being in this, when I say oppressed area, right? Where the majority of us are either like on some type of Section 8 housing, government assistance. So there wasn't much game to learn from there, right? What they taught you in these oppressed communities was to keep dependent on the system. You know what I'm saying? And versus, getting out and becoming more, better, learning what was actually what it was meant to be. You know what I'm saying? And so just that alone. I remember my first time leaving out of the country. You know what I'm saying? Just going to Mexico. I was like, yo, this is big. You know what I'm saying? I come back to it like, yo, you went to where? TJ? I'm like, yo, hey, ain't never 2 hours away. Like, I walk across the border back, but dudes like they made like I did a 2-month trip to, Africa somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I just went to Mexico and came back. Right? Yeah. It's big, right? Like, how do you do that? You know what I'm saying? And back then, you could really get back with just a California ID. You know what I'm saying? So it was like we go club, drink, and whatever. So then that became big, right? Then I started searching for more, right? Man, I like that. I like leaving out of the country. It's different, right? Because obviously, as soon as you leave out of the normal, where I was leaving the war zone, when I got here, nobody knew me. I could be who I wanted to be. I could change up who I wanted to be. See what I'm saying? So it didn't matter that I was a gangster, you know what I'm saying? Or a Crip from whoever. Like, that shit didn't matter over there. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? They don't even understand what that means. So I could be me comfortably, right? And versus when I got to come back here, I got to be on gang time, right? Like, I got to make sure, I'm checking my traps, making sure nobody try me and all this stuff. And you don't got to do that nowhere else. This is only what's bred in this culture right here that changed everything, where you got to act and do things a certain way for, obviously, security reasons or whatever. But that was a game changer, right? And every time I went out, I met in certain things, and then I changed. And I mean, even like on the story, when you see how I grew up, obviously the streets, graduated to this, these kind of crimes, robberies and stuff like that. Did my time, came home, burglaries, GTA, weapons charges. I mean, I got a ton of felonies and charges from a young age up until now. And I just knew I wanted to get out and do more. That wasn't about all this, right? I had to say, and I did. I got out of my community. And then I started doing, like in the Hollywood scene. And from Hollywood, I started meeting different people, right? Because it was obviously the world coming in and meeting. Then I started attaching to more things. Then I started leaving out of that area and going into like Vegas, and then, Miami, and then Texas, and then New York, and then I started traveling around the state. So I was learning, meeting people on this, drug game. And so then I leave there, and then obviously I started moving all this weight as far as, pills, and I started getting into all these little ketamines and stuff like that, and going crazy with all this stuff and partying. And I started meeting people from everywhere. And that's how I ran into, Owen, you know what I'm saying? And we linked up from there. And obviously he brought a whole new world to me, because he's obviously on such a level at this time with the, sports book and the betting and gambling, athletes and stuff like that. And I was doing a lot of training, especially with like a lot of, my UFC partners, man, it was really good friends, man. We hung out with them. They put me on a lot of stuff. Like I had the fighter game a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like all the fighters coming back and forth from Vegas, because obviously I had the steroids. Obviously I had, I was a liaison for partying with the girls, what they needed. Yeah. See what I'm saying? So I became the go-to favorite, right? Yeah. And then we connected, and then it just got bigger. But nevertheless, just getting outside the box, and I don't mean getting onto some negative stuff like that, but the contacts I met in there were, that I hung out with were lawyers and doctors and real estate, moguls. I mean, these people from everywhere, and they were in my contact, my go-tos for when I needed stuff, because I got outside the neighborhood. See what I'm saying? I didn't have my Rolodex when I was in the hood was nothing but killers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can call him if I need somebody, I need somebody to do this, but I didn't have anybody outside of that. So you have to get out of that norm and start meeting people. And especially as kids growing up, the more well cultured they are, like they're gonna eat. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna meet people from all different directions. And then their minds won't be so easily led astray. Yeah. So it's easy for me right now to go to my community, because they're being oppressed to sleep. So they're just looking for any hope. So I can go down there and I can feed them the right way, or I can feed them the wrong way. See what I'm saying? Because they're going to follow me, because guess what? I'm somewhere where they're not. And I want to get to his level. See what I'm saying? And a lot of people, that's what they do. They get up, they make money and these other stuff, but they're steering the culture in wrong directions. They're saying it's okay to kill. They're saying this is how we do it. I mean, look at the rappers. How many are getting killed, killing each other, right? Right? They're big, they're doing big things, but what they're giving back to them is this is how you need it. So the other young ones, they're coming up behind them doing the same thing, right? Beefing. Who's got the bigger beef? Who's got the more murders, right? But then they don't tell you the other side of the story, right? The other side of the story of those that fell, right? Of who, and it was funny. I was just looking at, it was a social media post, and it really hit home because it was about like Lil Durk and all that. It was like, man, here it is. He's been down this long right now, but this is who he could have been. This is what he could have been doing. And it was it was like a social media post, and they showed like Athens, San Tropez, Europe for Christmas, or yachts, and all around the world. He could have been doing all these things. See what I'm saying? And then now where he's at, that's not going to happen anymore. See what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, like he made it. You had it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you actually made it out of this. But then when you get on this demon time, right, and you get lost in the sauce, and then next thing you know now, and then guess what? After you get that life sentence, it humbles you. But then it doesn't change. You're going to eat out this tray every morning. You're going to get counted, 5-6 times a day. Yeah. Right? Like it doesn't, for the rest of your life. Yeah. Like they don't tell you that part.
No. None of that is talked about in the hood. They don't give you the breakdown on that. No.
They'll give you the stripes. So, he got life, and the homies, blah, blah, blah. But they ain't telling you on the other side of that wall of how it really is. And if you look at the dudes that's got phones in it now posting from their cells, they're telling you what? Exact opposite of what the guys who are on the streets claiming to be. They're like, man, I'm just trying to come home. Y'all youngsters need to stop that. This guy who's posting from his cell used to be this guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like he used to be this guy. Yeah. And you see the difference. Like, man, I'm just begging to come home, man. I still got 20 years left. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still got, I ain't coming home, right? Like, and so you in there, and then it's so funny because no matter how hard you is, there's somebody harder than you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always somebody harder than you. These dudes think they're hard until you see it right now with even the fades and dudes is fighting on it. I'll see everybody, and they get with a real one. And not on top of that, but watch this one. When I was in prison, I had to almost you paying chess, right? Because I had a lot to lose. But when they drop somebody who has the knowledge that I have, who has the backing and friends and loved ones, and I have in the middle of what I'm gonna say, the lion's den. Everybody been in here gone for XYZ years. They lost their wives, they lost their girlfriends, they lost their kids to gangs and everything. They don't have nothing to lose. See what I'm saying? So even if he can't fight, even if he ain't this, even if he has nothing to lose. Yeah. So you have to survive amongst people in there. And there was so many situations that in there, some things I had to deal with, but there was so many situations I was like, man, I beat the shit out of old boy. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't, because I had to play chess. Because if I go to the hole, if it turns to something even more crazy, I lose going home to my family. See what I'm saying? Because I got something to come home to. Yeah. This guy ain't got nothing to come home to. So he's lurking. He wants you to either kill him or kill something. See what I'm saying? So you're in there with these kind of people. And if you ain't around them, you're in the yard of crazy ass, sex offenders and crazy shit that you know what I'm saying? And then the other dudes is telling and all that. See, it's craziness, right? Like, you're just surrounded by that. Or you could be surrounded in board meetings and doing interviews and podcasting something positive or making money in a real way. You know what I'm saying? Traveling around the world. Like, which one do you choose? Because you can get money doing it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can get money. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good money out here. And I ain't got no victim mentality. I don't care what's going on in politics. It don't matter what president's sitting in here. I don't care what, what's going on here and there. I'm still going to get it. See what I'm saying? Like, I don't get distrayed by all that. You don't move me like that. You can't, because my mind is far more powerful than you think you could just, and you know what I'm saying? And that victim mentality is, oh, look, pointing. No, do something about it then. Like, get out here, make something happen, man. That's what I'm seeing right here today, man. Weakness everywhere.
Yeah, it's a lot of weakness and a lot of excuses, no accountability, and everybody wants to say, oh, man, the youngsters, you got to whatever, they're not crashing. They're crashing out on their own. I mean, literally, when you look at it, I remember, like really sitting down. And I remember my grandfather came to see me one time, and before I was going to YA, and he looked around and he said, "You know, when people come in here, they keep coming back, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked at him, and he just looked at me like it disgusted, like, "Man, you know, I have so much faith in you. You good student, blah blah blah, but you up in here with this stupid shit."
Yeah.
And I just sat there, kind of thought about it, right? I'm like, damn. But that didn't really even hit me because in my immaturity, I wasn't really even capable of distinguishing what he was really, the weight of what he said. It wasn't until I got to the feds later on after the bank robbery, and then I'm thinking, then I and did that stretch, and then I get out, and it takes me years to prove to my family that I actually changed and I'm a different person. But that's what people don't understand. See, when you get caught in that, like, it's basically a whole journey. Like you said, when you start, you know, from the days of like running in the streets, claiming the hood, selling dope, selling meth, doing licks, doing all this stuff, it takes years because you program. Then you got to reverse that because what you were doing was so natural, it was no big thing.
Right.
And like you said, you get in there. Like when I got to the pen, same thing. I get in there. And I'm acting like a square. I got to change now. If I don't change this time, I'm screwed.
You're done.
I'm done.
Done.
You know what I mean? Because I'm walking the track. I'm reiterating my old character. I have to push that old character out.
Right.
I got to push him out of his whole body. I got to start fresh.
Right.
So, you know, I don't want to walk the yard and talk about all the shit I did, all the stuff. I got to really change. I got to really work hard because I've already been tricked 2 or 3 times and I've been in the jail cell.
Right.
So that's the hard part, but that's the part a lot of people don't want to work on. And they keep trying to justify it, man. And that's, at the end of the day, what you got to do. Yeah, you might seem like you're a square now. Oh, you this and that. Bro, that ain't nothing. Just accept that.
Right.
That ain't nothing. At the end of the day, when you get past that, and like you said, you're in there walking the track and you're talking with guys about financing, you're learning about stocks, or you're learning about real estate, or you're working about your business plan, you're taking advantage of that time and you get out and now you winning. And when you start winning in life, you got to put yourself around other winners. You can't afford to put you around people who are looking at like, man, this dude think he better. And those aren't the right people. You want to be over here where they got so much shit, man, this shit ain't nothing. And they don't mind sharing it because it's the thing about people don't realize all that material shit, it's endless.
Right.
There's endless cars, endless jewelry, endless. After all, when people get that shit, they're still miserable.
Period.
You done killed, robbed, did all these licks, and then you're sitting there and you got the car in the garage, you don't even drive it.
Period.
It's, you know what I mean? So what really are you doing it for?
Period.
And people don't think about that. When you think about it, you do all this stuff and then you get in the way, and nowadays they're just letting you go, and then they bust you and they do the whole biometrics. Oh, okay, that's the same. You guys did like 5 other robberies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, the way your body moves, they put it in the thing. They got all that. Your shoes, so you got the same shoes on.
Google Match, they got it with
everything.
Match your face, back of your head. They can tell you who are.
Who you are. The mask don't mean nothing.
Yeah,
the Pooh Shiesty mask is nothing.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there looking stupid because now your deal is 15.
Yeah.
Hobbs Act.
Yeah. That's feds.
Feds.
All day.
You're done.
Feds.
You know about back in the day when everybody's hitting the jewelry store. Those licks were old school. These dudes are doing it again with more cameras.
I'm saying Hobbs Act. I'm saying you ain't even got to hit the lick. You could be planning it, and they can still book you for that robbery as if you did it. You can call it off, be right beforehand. And my hand to God, I was in there with dudes like that. Like I seen dudes indicted doing crazy number of years, never had work, never seen it, never touched it, like insane. And I was like, yo, like this ain't possible. And I would look at these dudes' paperwork, and I'm like, yo, that's a trip. I'm like, I was thinking they was bullshit. I'm like, nah, we all say we didn't do something. He said, no, I didn't get caught with this. I didn't get caught with that. No. I'm like, yeah, what? 30 years? You know what I'm saying? 20 years. Bank robbery. Same thing. Hobbs Act. Same thing. Planned it. Never even did it. It was a CI on his case who was an informant, was working with the feds while he was planning this lick. And then when they got wind of it, right before they was about to do it, they didn't do it. They nailed him. They still nailed him regardless. So they called it off. They still wouldn't book him. You know what I'm saying? But listen, at the end of the day, you are correct. I only surround myself by people that are on high frequencies, that are vibrating on my level. Mm-hmm. If you continue to go back, I can only help so much. You know what I'm saying? So like when I go back and give to people and help out whatever I can, if you are vibrating on such a low frequency of negative stuff, and then I'm giving you, you're not taking it and using it, then I move forward because I'm going to direct it towards someone who can use it.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to use it, you already got yourself planned out to live this image and be this, what you see on social media, then I can't, it's nothing I can do for you. And I always like to say about these old, heads, these gangsters, you can't change them, right? Like they've already set their mind straight on what they want to do, right? My target would be going after the youth.
Yeah.
My target is giving them and teaching them. If you don't want to change your life, give me your son. Let me give him some stuff that he can work with. At least do that, right? Pay it forward to them. And so he doesn't have to go through, or she doesn't have to go through what you is. Here's some game. Here's some education. Here's financial literacy. Here's world culture, history, politics in a nutshell, so you can make better decisions on who you vote for, where you put your money at, how you invest it, and what's important. You know what I'm saying? Since I came home, man, God's blessed me so much, man. Look, I thought I wasn't coming home when I came home, right? He gave me a date. Then I came home, he blessed me with 2 little girls, you know what I'm saying? At my age, I'm like, and now every day I watch them, I just denounce all the bullshit anymore. And I love to sacrifice whatever I have. I don't live for me anymore. I live for them. Mm. Whatever I can build and give them. And that is the most joyful thing I ever had. See what I'm saying? And I stay ready. You know what I'm saying? Like I train every day. I do all that. Like don't get it twisted. Don't make me soft. Don't make anything else. But I'm militant, especially on how I raise my kids, how I conduct myself. But in this operation of where I am, I'm paying it forward. I'm gonna give. Like if God bless me anymore at this point, I just pay it forward. Let me give it to Him. Let me help these people because I'm good. I'm content. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I know success is even coming. We're growing right now. The ice cream, ice protein, California ice protein is blowing up like crazy. We in 6 states, started last year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm putting sweat equity in it, and I'm running around here, and people go, man, you don't see the big picture.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I'm on a movement. Investment wise, sitting down with people, man, I've been training, I've been on this coaching program, helping people, changing lives. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on peptides. I'm big on all these things, health, mental things that I can help people with, research behind it, backing. I'm on a movement. You know what I'm saying? And I'm down for anybody who wants to join in on this movement to help give back and move forward, right? For those that want to be stuck and play victim, complain, I don't have time. Y'all invite me on my frequency. See what I'm saying? Because I know who we can get to, and we're going to get there, and we're going to get there the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we're going to give back and do all that. It's a movement, man. Stop being, these dudes is culture vulture. They make all this money off the community, whatever it is, selling wolf tickets and doing all this crazy stuff, and they don't go back and do anything. I was just on, we did an event right before Christmas with Steve Will Do It. And we went back to, we was in Compton, and we gave away, he gave so much stuff away, but like, it felt good, man, to see all those families, black and brown, showing up. It didn't matter if you were oppressed, it could be white, whoever you was, but you live in these communities, you could have get up and you could get your kids could have got toys, man. He gave away cars. We were giving out all this free ice cream and whatever we could. I spoke, took pictures, people that seen the documentary, when I got a fan, I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, yo, listen, I'll stop to talk to anybody. You know what I'm saying? And give back. I get DMs now, messages from the documentary like, yo, your story is very resilient, man, and where you came back, man. And obviously they identify where I come from, right? Came back from gang banging, went to prison, and I want to change, and watching you inspire me. That's big to me. You know what I'm saying? I live for that. Like I get such a high off of that than anything else. I don't even care about the money. I don't even care about what I'm making. Like I get more of a high off of that. Of some kid telling me that watching your story has motivated me to do this and change, right? That's you can't get any better than that. See what I'm saying? Like you can't get any better than that, Yeah. So I can't imagine dudes that's putting all this crazy killer, rah stuff on there, right? And they're doing this, and then what they get in their DMs and stuff like that is, oh yeah, the gangs, and I want to push this level and do this and that, right? That's just too much. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that on me. I don't want to have to go meet my maker one day and then have to explain that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, no, I'm giving back for all the bad I did in my life. man, I'm trying to make up for that. See what I'm saying? You know, when I get to that other side, I want to make up for that, man. You know, and I want to do this on a whole other right way. And my whole mission moving forward is on that.
What's one of your most memorable experiences as far as, you know, traveling outside your comfort zone, like, you know, being international or having a moment where you just sat back and like just tripped out? I know, you know, for myself, I remember going to Belize and just looking at the water, how clear it was, or being on the ocean, going out to like going out on the deck of the ship, you know, when you have the balcony and looking out like, damn, man, it's infinity out there. But just realizing that for everything that I went through and experienced, there's so much more left to experience, but being grateful for the moment. You know what I mean? Seeing that, is there something that, you know, or maybe more than one thing that you like experienced or was somewhere and you just kind of had like one of those like, you know, I get it moments, like you're looking around like, this is crazy. I got
a couple of those. Yo, listen. One was, I remember my first time to Peru, and we was down there, we was working on we had the lawyers for obviously another group of people he was actually was helping out with, and we had to go to Peru. Been traveling down here doing all these things. You know, when I started coming on board and working with him, becoming the right, doing all the moves and stuff, it was all new to me, game changing stuff, right? Private jets everywhere. I mean, we landed in countries with bodyguards picking us up, and you know, there was a whole nother game. It was like next level, right? Like, I'm like, yo, this is crazy, right? Like, and then when we go places, just how people seeing us and when they look at us. But my first time to Peru, when I landed there, and you know, this was after my mom passed, 10, 11. So when I went down to Peru, this was after she passed. And I remember landing there, and like, looked at me. He said, man, I had like a tear come out my eye, right? He said, man, I was like, man, you don't understand. Like, I never thought I'd make it out of LA County. You know what I'm saying? I'm in Peru right now. Like, not only am I in Peru, but I got money. I mean, I could have any girl I wanted. Like, I got all the toys that I needed. You know what I'm saying? I got my house. I mean, and I'm down here just living life, man, and making money doing this, right? I'm showing up and everything. So it was like big to me. I'm like, yo, like, you know, so many people, and it was different for him. You know what I'm saying? He grew up Redondo. He grew up, you know, obviously his story is heavy, you know what I'm saying? But like, man, I grew up in real poverty, man. Like, you know, gangs, slangs, and, you know, one of my homeboys got his brains blew out driving, and we ran into a pole. Like, I was doing Vietnam stuff what most people would see they had to go to war to in my community. You know what I'm saying? Look, his brains blew out. You know what I'm saying? Like right here, we run into a pole. Like we had to like, you know, like another homie shot. We on the freeway, same thing. Shot him in the side. We go to King. You know, and I got stories. That can take you to King Drew. You know what I'm saying? The best gunshot. Everything else is terrible, but if you got a gunshot, they can patch you up. They can make something happen. But like LA dudes knew that. Like, like don't take me to that fancy hospital. If I got a gunshot, take me to Drew. But if I got a cold, take me to the fancy restaurant over here on so-and-so, Cedar Sinai. You know what I'm saying? If I'm having kids, take me to Cedar Sinai. But if I got a gunshot, man, drive me all the way to LA because I know I'm going to survive with them. They put stuff together. You know what I'm saying? As far as that, then they'll make you walk to the surgery room to the next one. Like, man, I'm shot, man. Like, okay, cool. That's cool. Just walk over to room 33. Like, that's how they treat you over there. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I come from that era. You know what I'm saying? And so to put that in hindsight, all those funerals and gangs and stuff like that, and here I am landing in Peru, right? And I'm like, yo, like tear came to my eyes. I was like, yo. And another eye opener was when I was going to Costa Rica. We had a house down there. Man, this house was a villa in the jungle. Behind it, in front of it, is the water in the beach. And not only that, the third floor was glass, and we had 2-3 pools on one compound. You know, crazy stuff, right? And like, we got maids and, you know, girls that come in and do massages at certain times for us, and we're just sitting back, and this is just normal life over here. And I'm just sitting back, and I'm like, and this was like the game changer that really changed my mind. I got monkeys in the trees. Beautiful ocean right here. And Costa Rica is beautiful, man. Like it's on another level. And I'm eating what I want to eat. You know what I'm saying? I got my tequila right here. and I'm watching the football game or the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like as if I was here, but like this is my playground right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like game changer. I'm like, man, we in United States killing each other up and hating each other. And this is how the rest of the world is. I mean, obviously there's things going on in the world. I'm not saying, but I'm saying like you can be like this, right? And it doesn't take much to have this, right? It's not like it's something crazy or something that you gotta go to school for 20 years or you gotta know this and that. No. Just simple sacrifice, simple money management get you there. But that was the game changer, being there and just sitting there like, yo, like, wow. So when I come home, my brain is on a whole nother frequency. See what I'm saying? It's been hardwired, totally different now. Mm-hmm. So the average conversations I was having from dudes in LA and hoods, and I was like, I can't even listen to that anymore. You see what I'm saying? Because I just came from something so big. It's levels to this. It's almost like Kanye, when it was like, oh, hey, Kanye's going crazy and da-da-da-da. Like, you can't fathom what it's like to be a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like, you dudes, that's another level of, see what I'm saying? Like, access. Is he really crazy? Man, like we don't, this man's mind is thinking on vibrating on such a higher frequency because of the rooms he sat in and the power and what he's seen, right? So it's like, what do you mean like he's crazy? How do we know? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be on that level to understand that, right? And what he's been through to get there. There's a lot of dudes like that out there, right? They're like, oh, bro, you don't know what he's up. He's up against some stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's up against some heat. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, man. Your money ain't there. And we like to fathom because we think couple $100,000, you got money. Or even if you got a couple $1 million, you think you got money. That ain't no money. You know what I'm saying? It's comfortable. You can eat. What I'm saying is you're talking about people who are billionaires now. You know what I'm saying? Multi-millions on a high level, you know what I'm saying, of millions and millions and millions and investing and stuff like that. Like, you can't even fathom how a billionaire accountant work. Like, he's probably got a whole office building just doing accounting for him. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Like, I don't even understand the level. And I know money and I know how it moves, but like, how do you keep track of that kind of money? You know, another guy, when Andrew Tate said, he had this thing, he said, I got the kind of money that, just for you guys out here to understand that I don't look at prices on anything. You know what I'm saying? When I go somewhere, I don't look at the menu prices of what I want. I just order what I want. I don't even think anything of it. If I'm going somewhere and I'm traveling the world, I don't think how much is this villa or suite. I buy 2, 3 of them for everybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's financial freedom. But that doesn't mean that's happiness. I'm not saying that's happiness, but it's financial freedom, right? I mean, at least you can shield or protect your family and loved ones with that. You know what I'm saying? Because if I had that kind of money, I think of all the people that I see right now, man. One of my closest cousins, man, he was, during the holidays, his electricity was out, right? And today's day, it had been out for he didn't even tell me, a couple months. He has a son, his wife, and he's very proud. He didn't want to tell me until it got so bad that he did. And when he did, I couldn't believe it, man. I was like, yo, here, not one of mine. We're going to get all this stuff fixed up. We're going to make sure you got food, toys, kids, everything, and stuff like that. Because, and that part alone is like, this is why I'm out here doing it. I'm doing it for those. Mm-hmm. They may not feel they can get this way, but if I can get here, I can take care of all those loved ones, you know what I'm saying, that deserve that. You know what I'm saying? That they may not be mentally strong enough to get there. They may not be, or whatever the case is in life, they don't understand it. Or it's never too late, but meaning like they're so been in the game for so long for them to try to, you can help them out so much, but just to get them some type of freedom where they're not living from check to check, right? And having to live through that type of stuff. But like, I can touch so many people with that. See what I'm saying? Like, yo, like, man, you deserve it. You need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't just, I got my homeboy called me around the holidays. You know what he said? He said, man, let me get a loan, man. Like, and I'll pay you back. And he had it all mapped out of how he was going to pay me back. And I said, well, what do you need this money for? He said, just to have some extra money during the holidays. And I said, well, if you really wanted that, why didn't you, a couple months back, get an extra job or do anything else? See what I'm saying? So it doesn't make sense. If you really wanted some extra money in the holidays, then why didn't you put yourself in position to do that and try, or whatever the case was, right? And I said, it doesn't make sense to me. See, I can weed through. Don't think just because I'm handing stuff out. No, you got to earn it like I have to earn it. Everybody got to work for it. I got to work for it. You got to work for it. You know what I'm saying? You want that little extra money? Are you willing to do the work? Because in fact, if you're coming to me for a loan, I'm gonna need that back plus interest because this is a personal. It's not a necessity. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you had to have it. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. Then I'm gonna treat you like the banks do, right? What's your FICO score? Because that system works. You know what I'm saying? What's your FICO score? Oh, you got a 500?
Yeah.
Well, but let me guess. You ain't gonna take care of your own credit. But then you gonna pay me back? You know what I'm saying? No. Same system. But for those who can't get it and they need that help, man, imagine. That feel good, man, to sit back and I'm like, man, I'm gonna make sure none of mine have to go without. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah. I looking at that, I always tell people like when some person has a reality that's like doom and gloom, I said there's another reality where it's ball and let live. You know what I mean? So you can't ever say your reality is somebody else because it's not necessarily their reality. There's some parallel worlds going on, parallel reality, parallel matrix.
Yeah.
So, you have these different things and you're like, well, why shouldn't it be like this? But somebody can be living, like you said, in LA, for instance, LA County. You can drive, I can recall sitting in Malibu at a restaurant on the water, looking at dolphins, eating avocado toast, drinking orange juice, and then drive through LA, through downtown, and then it turns into a whole nother country.
Right.
It's crazy. Then go through Long Beach and it's even wild.
Right.
And then you look at you don't went through 4 or 5 different economic situations to get to wherever you want to get to, maybe in Huntington Beach.
Right.
And this is all within 20, 30 miles.
Right.
And that's how, and all these are different realities.
Right.
The people over here have no idea what it means to even be downtown there hustling on the sidewalk or somebody strung out on fentanyl and Skid Row. They don't see that.
No.
So it's not real to them.
No.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I tell people, you have to reprogram your reality. And once you reprogram that, you'll start attracting that and it'll change your reality. Right. Otherwise, you can easily say this is what it is, and it could be that, magnified.
Right.
So you got to learn how to, it's like holding that magnifying glass down there into you put a hole in the leaf or something, back in the day when you were a kid. It's the same thing. But you got to hold it. And after a while, you see the little burn coming off there. And it's the same thing with your vision. You gotta be so steadfast in what it is you want to do with your life that you're willing to focus in on that and not let anybody tell you otherwise. That's why sometimes, when you have something you want to do, don't share it among just anybody. Hold these dreams close to your heart and only share with people who are like-minded, who are going to inspire you. So that way you can get feedback. Because otherwise, a lot of these people want to knock you down. They don't want you to have these nice, because they don't want nice things and they don't understand nice things. No. And when they see nice things, they want to take it.
Right.
They don't respect it. So you got to be very careful in your friend circle. I mean, me and you've been friends for over a decade, bro, but we kept that connection. But we always lift each other up, talk about positive stuff.
Right.
And you got to put yourself around people like that if you want to win.
Period. That's off the top. It was just explaining to that. I got a young homie that came home. He did what he was supposed to do. Came home after 21 years, 22 years. And shout out to him for name's France Davis, man. And shout out to him, man. He came home and he did what he was supposed to do. He came in, went to the program in the halfway house. He took up some electrician class and accounting stuff. He exercised all the programs that they had. They're paying for him and this is where taxpayer money should be going, type stuff like this, right? Get him in the community. They're helping out with his bills in his place. He's got a job. As long as he's taking care of all his things, it helps him to get back on his feet and get started. See what I'm saying? Not releasing somebody after 20 years of SHU programs and especially in the Fed swoop programs and all that. And he got stickings, political, and then they just release you into the community.
like an animal.
The whole time I was locked up, I was like, man, I've been doing all this time. And then all of a sudden, a month, 2 months to the house, they dropped my points down again and they sent me to camp. I didn't even want to leave the camp because I was like, the feds, right? The camps is
wide open.
They wide open. They got drugs. They got phone. I didn't want no distraction. Dudes is, girls coming up, they hitting in. I was like, man, this is too much. They keep me on the yard. I was fighting because I knew I only had so much left, right? I said, I'm in between 6 months to the house. Like, I can stay here. I kept telling my counselor, right? And the problem was, obviously, they got hit because they wasn't releasing guys at the camp, so they had to get so many people out of there. But it was like, yo, like, so I had to walk around camp like this all day. Like, yo, dudes pull out phones and you want to go to Jack. No, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use my minutes up. I ain't got nothing to talk about because if I get started on that, I ain't going to be able to stop. See what I'm saying? And because I focused, I had to get home. You know what I'm saying? My I'm older now, so I don't have that youth in me to come back and forth and do all this. I need to get home and get cracking because I need to build myself up. But yeah, you gotta protect yourself, man, in your environment. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I told him, I said, your house is your sanctuary. Anybody that comes to your home needs to be family. See what I'm saying? Acquaintances and friends, you could meet them out there. I mean, long-term friends, but like I look at you as family. I don't even look at you just as a friend. Yeah. That's how long we have embedded in it. Somebody I can count on because you've been there whenever I need you. Understood when I was down, whatever the case was. You always sent me, whatever it was, pictures and stuff. So it's family, right? We've made something more, right, than just friendship. And that's how your house should be protected because that vibration, I'm telling you, energy is everything. Yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? And people will steal your energy. They come around you, just being around them. I'll pull up and be in traffic with, I'll bump into homies and stuff. And just for a hot second I be with them when I leave, I feel like, man, like, I gotta get all that off me. You know what I'm saying? I jump in the car, dudes is talking about what's going on in the hoods and stuff. And I'm like, yo, look back. All right, cool. Drop me off at the thing because I gotta get up out of here. Like, I'm not on that move. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want to move indoors with dudes is having real meetings, you know what I'm saying, and doing big things. How we getting together, how we can eat together, how we can make things happen. See what I'm saying? And eat, and our families eat. And our families, like we can sit around at barbecues and you can watch your kids grow up, watch my kids grow up and that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? So you definitely got to protect yourself, man, and you got to do it. And these programs are here, and you can use them and utilize them. Or you can ignore them. I got other homies that saying, oh, I don't need to go. Been down 20-something years. One of my boys coming home soon. He like, I don't want no happy. I just want to get out. And I said, you really think after 20-something years that this is going to be this? And it was so funny because he said, you know what? I'm going to be out the way. And this is how I bust him down. Because a lot of times my homies, when they don't want to talk to me as much because I get on them like a parent, right? I'm like a dad. Like, the older I am now. And he said something simple, just like this. He about to come home in about 8 months. He's like, man, I just want to chill. I want to be able to low ride on the weekends. That's all I want to do. I said, stop right there. He said, what? I said, what's wrong with low riding? He said, man, I'm just out the way. Really? What were you going to low ride at? Oh, if you're not low riding in a whole nother country, it ain't got nothing to do with this gang stuff. You're good. But if you're low riding in our community right now, it's a war zone. Yeah. They killing over there left and right. But what makes you exempt? Because especially he's got gang stuff tatted on him, so it ain't like they know who you is. Even if the youngsters and her, and you like, oh, I'm out the way, you piecing. They gonna blow them fingers off. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about none of that. They don't. That's So just low riding can either have you kill somebody, get life, or get killed. Just low riding. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do that anymore. Yeah. So you have to X yourself out of all that and leave completely. You know what I'm saying? And get yourself together and get grounded. And when you do, but that takes time. You can't, like it takes, listen, I'm still PTSD. I'm 4.5, 5 years out right now. I'm still PTSD. You know what I'm saying? And you know how the feds is. Yeah. Feds versus the state. Yeah. Feds is mental. Yeah. State is physical. Yeah. But the feds is mental.
A lot of mental.
They snatched me up from New York, Midwest, West Coast, back to New York, Midwest, back. I did like 4 times. And I had to do time in each place. And each region was a whole different. Yo, listen, when I first got arrested in New York, I went to jail. I hadn't been to prison in so long, right? So I'm a little rusty on the ropes. I mean, I know the basics. I'm always staying down on my whatever I'm at, right? And I come up in here, and I remember I was like, okay, I got to figure out where I'm going to be at, political wise. Right? I don't know how they rock up in here, right? I'm expecting New York. Niggas like talking crazy. You know how they be, New York niggas talk big. I love listening to them talk because they could be just going to the liquor store like, yo, son, yo, guy. Like, it be big. You be like, yo, like, really? Like, you be interested. He just telling he going to the store. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You like, damn, that was big. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I come in there and it was funny, right? I'm in the bullpen I got on my partners from Latin King. He was giving me the ropes from New York. And then get another partner right here. He tied it up. 6-0 everywhere. Boom. I was like, oh shit, you from 6-0? He's like, yeah. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's like, you down. I'm like, I'm a real, you know what I'm saying? But I'm from here, So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Where you at? Like, where we going? So we get to going up there. I mean, I'm saying he got blocks on him. Like, Ryan, like, yo, listen, as we get upstairs, he get to talking. He like, yeah. So I was like, your homie so-and-so. He's like, no, I already know him. I said, he be right there on Bryanhurst. I said, you been right there around there on Crenshaw or something? Right there on that store? He's like, oh, no, I ain't never been there. And because I hadn't been to prison. I didn't know. I mean, I knew gangs were in prison, but I didn't know it had swept through you, because I've been gone 25 years. You know what I'm saying? I've been in Costa Rica, Panama, Peru. So I wasn't really keeping track of the system. Man, listen, the gangs has swept up in there. They're everywhere. It was hard to find a New York nigga. I mean, in New York, but they're like on like West Coast times, right? The Bloods, everything, right? The Bloods a little bit more New Yorkers, but it's still same team, but still like, under this thing. But I was like, wait, all these dudes, nobody's been to LA? So I'm like hanging with these the rip card, like, and none of y'all been to the city? Like, so I was like, man, I'm telling you, it was like a time, like I felt like I was in the Matrix for real. I was like, yo, what is going on, right? And I couldn't believe he had blocks and things. And I said, man, people have died on these blocks, and you guys got them on there like, y'all ain't never even been there. Or at least pay homage to go there. Like, stop through and see it. But, I mean, I get the movement y'all on, but still, it just shows you how this shit just spread like cancer through everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's just I don't know what. West Coast, we different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the world is really following this right now. I just did a interview for Europe, because they got these little gangs popping up and all that. And the dude was trying to like, talk to an OG from, Cali, and show you that this ain't, y'all don't want to get this. And I was even telling him, I said, listen, the only thing I can say is that community, what parts of Europe, y'all better stop it now before it gets, because once it infiltrates it big, then that life that you have over there is going to change. You know what I'm saying? You walk in, you're jogging, you're going to start having brutal murders for nothing, dumb stuff, like just ridiculous, But yeah, man, I was like, I was blown away by that New York shit. And when I walked in there though, and then here was the other, when I said it's mental.
Yeah.
I said, well, at least I can just, where the brothers is at. You know what I'm saying? Let me see where they at. So I go in, there's two sides, it's big and high. I'm in the MDC, Brooklyn. So I'm sitting and I walk in, big pods, sales top, it's TVs, 4 TVs down. So on this side, I see brothers. I see braids, I see afros. This side, I see brothers, right? So what side do I get to, right? Well, this side, they spoke Spanish, right? But they all was brothers, all the Dominicans and all that, right? Yeah, afros, braids, they look the same. They walk the same, they talk the same, they shoot it the same way, nigga this, nigga that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? All right, but it's different, right? You know what I'm saying? But it was a trip, man. And but you know what? Shout out to them, because New York, man, they gave me love, man. They pulled up, man. Them dudes lined up, rip car, whatever. Come and bless you, OG, whatever you need, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? And you don't even get that in the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely pay homage, man, and respect to that. And but yeah, man, it was crazy, man. I mean, listen, what you know about Oklahoma, Grady County? You know what I'm saying? Man, they took us out overflow. They'll send you to Grady County to do your time. And I mean, obviously they ship you over there, but like I'm going through towns where like straight up like out of a old zombie movie. You know what I'm saying? Literally like flatlands, abandoned houses everywhere, leading up to this little prison in the middle of nowhere where there's tornadoes and all this crazy stuff. And then coming up in here, man, and you see, man, in the feds, I seen, when you land on that tarmac, right? When you're on Con Air, and they pull you out, and they got everybody, because they interchanging, going to different federal joints, right? Every spot that you land in, they pull you guys out. And I seen nothing but time. You know what I'm saying? I've seen extremely midgets. I've seen tall, crazy I've never seen. I mean, I've seen the girls coming out. There was one lady, her hair was down to the floor, cocaine white. Everything was white. Like I was like, yo, she had to been here. She's probably been locked up for 50, 60, like something crazy, right? You knew it just because her hair or her nails was that long. Like, it was insane. So what I'm saying is, looking at these people that hit the tarmac, and they're like, from cases you heard, you know, growing up and stuff like that. Like, oh, I remember that. That was that serial killer, that murder, or that.
It's like they've been locked in the catacomb.
Period. And they've been locked away, and they're in here, and you're like looking at this shit, and you're like, damn, these people are having, you don't understand. Like, imagine you being locked up since the 50s. You know how much it changed since then? You know what I'm saying? Think about technology-wise. See what I'm saying? Like, they've been locked up since, obviously you get a little taste of it in jail, but not like literally here till now, you know, man, feds ain't no joke, man. You know, swoop program up in Lewisburg, man, that's like an old castle. I don't know if you know Lewisburg in PA, one of the oldest joints, man. I'm like, yo, like, this thing look crazy. That's for all the dudes that get caught with the gang banging and sticking and stuff like that. And we just passed through there. You know what I'm saying? But like, I was like, oh yeah, no, it's insane, man. It's some crazy shit, man. But yeah, man, life is, man, it's good out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be in that versus now, like, I can't imagine, man. When I think back on that, man, sometimes I sit back in my bed and I just be laying there and my heart will start racing because I think about everything I had to go through in there. I mean, the smallest things. You on the plane, you got to piss, you got to shit. Think about this.
I know.
You in this line, first off, you can't even get up. They might say, we already did it, so you missed that call. So you got to wait another hour until you holding it, sitting in this, you know what I'm saying? And then when they open up the door to allow everybody's bathroom, you got the marshals, and you get the line, so everybody going, they got a line going to the bathroom. So you literally got to go in this bathroom with the door wide open. He like this, the marshal, he own it. Like he want to see you whip out. He want to see it. He want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a man, you're like, yo, I got to sit here. Like, I can't even.
Can't go.
You can't even go. You just sitting there like, yo, you like trickling out. He like this. He count the drops.
And then you got like, remember, you got the box.
And then
it's not just the handcuff, the box.
The box.
You can't move with the box.
Yo, listen, they don't even know about the box. I forgot
the box hurt, bro. That box, listen. After hours of sitting there like this with the box.
Not only in your legs. Yeah. They don't understand the box. And you know who created that box?
An inmate. Goddamn inmate, man. A goddamn
Imagine
inmate.
That. He created the box. You know what I'm saying? So this is the matrix we live in, bro. This thing is, they don't understand. This ain't handcuffed. This is a box. This goes around. It's a square. Yeah. You put your hands in. It feel like, what is that back in the day where?
Yeah. Then you go numb. Yeah. You can't even feel it. Like, you get up, remember they give you the little sandwiches and you don't want to even eat because then you feel like you got to take a shit and you're constipated.
Listen.
Then you can't even shit because you can't do nothing.
I would stop drinking water 24 hours before I would even go on the trip, because when I knew they were pulling me, and you got to be, because you got to time it. You never know when they're going to pull you, right? So if they say, hey, you leaving, you got to roll up tonight.
That shit.
Yo, yeah, and you would have to, see, this is the stuff that they ain't showing you on social media. This is the stuff they ain't telling you. They got you wrapped up like, this is cool. The homie was on the yard rapping, and nah, it was in that box.
But what about those towns when you roll up and you see these guards and they look like they just some cold country boys? You like, bro, y'all boys come through here with this bullshit. Like, dude, it's like they run their own shit. You be like,
whole different
like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like,
a whole different ball game.
People don't understand, and they do what they want to do in those counties.
Yeah. You got. Like I said, they've been running this joint. I mean, this is even in Lompoc. They like their own little crew. Man, they came in with the what is those little like paintball things or whatever they got? Man, they came through shooting, like, they literally got drunk. Came through on some, like, we finna go up in here, because obviously there was some tension going on in there in on the yard. But they literally came through literally like a posse and just start shooting up the place and sending motherfuckers in there. They wound up shooting his old man in his eye. He actually had a case behind it. They messed his eye up with it, right? And but yeah, man, I said, this is crazy. You know, and you know, when that whole time I was in there, I didn't watch TV. Yeah, like, the people had programs, stuff like that. Like, my big homie, he's like, because you got to have seats, you know, in your section, right? These are our seats, these are his seats, because it's real political on the West Coast. West Coast is all about politics, making no money. East Coast, they jugging. New York, man, they got gambling tables in there. They got stores. They got all kind of stuff, and they eating. That's one thing, they hustlers. They getting it in. It's all about money. West Coast, we too busy focusing on who's hitting the yard now, who's this, who's that. obviously all this old shenanigans and bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And the whole, this paperwork thing, man, listen, they make that shit fake and all that. So it's like, oh, you got your paperwork and we're having a paperwork party. Man, dudes was getting shit sent in. Doc, I've seen it all, bro. So I don't want to hear, you know, paperwork or who's ratting on who or who's a sex offender, yo, listen, all this shit is fake because ain't nobody even gonna do nothing about it. Like, obviously, the only ones, if you in a pen in certain ones, right? And that's only ones where, like, these dudes got so much time, they've been there. They the only ones really answering. Everybody up under that shit, all that bullshit that they doing. Obviously, there's some situations, but, man, that shit is fake as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes is up in here walking around with dirty paperwork. Man, I seen dudes that were running the whole car. And then 2 years later, 3 years later, the paperwork come out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this dude was running the whole car. Now they running him off the yard. But he been hit the helm. He wasn't just.
Yeah. He was the man. Yeah.
He was the man of the car, right? He wasn't like somebody said, like, yo, I've seen this talk. I said, yo, I can't, like, I was literally in the twilight zone. I said, man, I can't make this up. I got to get up out of here. This is insane. You don't know who to trust, who to whatever, right? So I just stuck to those who would help me build when I came home, right? And that's obviously your accountants and your doctors, lawyer. I don't care who it was. They had information and education. I never would. I wanted to learn more about it. Whatever I could pick up while I'm in here, give it to me. Yeah. Give me books that you read, you know, because this dude's walking around the feds. They worth $100 million. Yeah. They worth $1 billion.
You never know it.
They worth $1 billion. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Like and you never know. But this is the only place where the playing field is equal. Yeah. So these guys would never. Everybody that I got their hookups over there on the streets, they would never have talked to me.
That's right.
But in there, they were able to. And then once they heard me talking, how I carry myself, they love me. They're like, yo, like I never thought that would actually. And we wound up becoming really good friends with some real people. See what I'm saying? Versus, homies just talking about who got killed, who hood, this and that. Like, that's it, man. 45, 50, 60-year-old men still talking about that in there today. Wow. That shit is insane to me. I'm like, yo, I get on the yard and because their name and that hood stuff is all they have. Yeah. Or at least they feel that's all they have. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's crazy, man. I'm telling you, man. No, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good dudes in there. You know what I'm saying? That change and this and that, and especially from all kind of teams. And I respect it all, man. I was more like, I didn't care what hood you was from. I just wanted to be around real motherfuckers. That's it. Mm-hmm. Wasn't faking. That was it. If I was in some joint, I don't care where you was from. You could have been an enemy hood that I ain't heard of. But if you was real, I was like, yo, man, it's a real one in here. Let me pull up because there's so much watered down bullshit in here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And, just that whole concept of who's hard, who's telling, who's not. Bro, listen, if you ain't finna do nothing about it, why bring it up? And usually the guy who's always talking about who's telling in paperwork, you gotta keep an eye on him. You know what I'm saying? Because they be sensationalized about it, right? Yeah. His paperwork, you check his paperwork he got on there, you know what I'm saying? And obviously you gotta have a license, you know what I'm saying, to hit the yard for sure. Like your paperwork need to be what you obviously need to be, accord. Like my big homie, when I come, he said, yeah, just have that, and then we get that, boom, in 30 days. You get 30 days, drop that paperwork, so you get your license to hit the car. Hit the yard and take advantage of whatever programs they got there. But before that, if you ain't got that paperwork on land, obviously I get that, I respect that, you know what I'm saying? But that's it. But then after done that, I don't want to hear about it all day, who's this and who's that, and who telling me that shit is, get out of my face with that. I rock by myself anyway, you know what I'm saying? So I don't need friends like that.
And it's not worth the energy to put into it.
No, it's not.
It's like focus on what you got to do. If you ain't really messing with that dude anyway, just mind your business. You know what I mean? And stay out the way. Because the more you speak on something, then now you might, I've heard dudes say, then go do something. Mm-hmm. Now you put yourself out there. Because you talked all that shit. Now they're saying, go do it then.
Facts.
Now, if you don't go do it now, you going to get ran up out of there because you ran your mouth so much.
Right.
So a lot of times it's better just to mind your business, man.
Stay back out the way, man. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. You doing time, man, and do something constructive with it. I was just telling my other boy 20 years even now. And I said, man, listen, in 20 years, if you did colleges, you could have had a doctorate right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the little colleges out there, there ain't no excuse. And he ain't even got a GED. I said, man, you ain't got a GED. You've been down 20 years
with no GED?
I know a bunch of them like that. That's like, when I holler that, they're like, oh yeah, a GED. Like, come on, man. And they got colleges in. I mean, obviously you can get to, work. And even if you can't get it in there, like the books I would have sent in. Man, listen, I was trying to get books in there they said you couldn't even have because it was so powerful. You know what I'm saying? I remember naming names. They're like, oh, this, that. Yeah. They ain't gonna let that in.
Yeah, mailroom's like, oh, you can't get this rejection notice. You're like, what? For what? Oh, because it says it's about black this or that. You know, like,
I'm saying, like when they say mind,
psychologist
types of books. Yeah. They don't want you to get none of that because they figure like you go
use it on the guards. Yeah.
You gonna use that on the guards. Yeah. But yeah, man, it was definitely it definitely was you know, I'm not happy that happened, but it's what gave me what I got today. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And what built what this is right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm appreciative, and I know this was God's way because I was hard-headed. You know what I'm saying? And now, you know, He's forged a soldier for this shit, and I'm active with it. I want to get out here and, like I said, really push this, you know, positivity. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love getting on here anyway, because you're always trying to push a good message and just, you know, open up the shenanigans of what we see going on right here, man.
Yeah.
You gotta wake up.
Yeah.
You're drinking that coffee, man, that Kool-Aid.
Well, just like we were talking too, man. And I always tell people, man, look, if you want to make it home to your family at night, if you do happen to get pulled over or stopped, just do the right thing. You know, a lot of times you can talk yourself out of situations and not have to worry about nothing. And that's the one thing, like you said, as far as frequency, you know, things could happen, but when you are cordial or you treat somebody else with respect, you got to realize, like, you don't know what somebody's going through, what their day was like, and just be aware of that. And so, you know, for you guys out there, I know a lot of you guys on social media, you know, give me your supervisor or do this. Look, man, just be cool a lot of times and you can go home. It's an attitude check, and it's a bigger picture. They promote that bullshit, but like, you don't have to be a part of the drama, man.
Well, and to add to that is, you got to know when to pick your battles, right? And two is, that ain't the way to fight them, right? Like talking crazy, not rolling down the window. These dudes are armed, you ain't armed, or even if you is armed, you ain't showing ID, or whatever the case is. You have to, don't think selfish. Selfishly is just thinking about self. You need to think about, do you have kids? Do you have a wife to come home to? Do you have a mother that's sick that might need you down the line in the future? You got to think bigger than that, than just yourself.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And doesn't matter. 2 racist people pull me over. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to stay strict to the code because I want to come home to my family. If I have a problem with them, I'm going to come back with a lawyer, some paperwork. That's how I'm going to come.
That's right.
See what I'm saying? Right here, while we on this dark road, ain't nobody around, no cameras or whatever you got control of or whatever the case is, I ain't even finna sit here and play that. I'm trying to get home to my family. See what I'm saying? I can always double back. And that's where we're at today, where we're bucking against this system in a way where we're losing lives. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying American lives, not just black. I ain't just here for black. I'm saying black, white, whoever you are, Latin, doesn't matter. Like this is like, you got to pay attention, man. See what I'm saying? Because there's somebody puppet mastering all of this. And these people are losing their lives and not coming home to their families behind the puppet masters. Mm-hmm. The puppet masters are always going to eat. The puppet masters do this type of stuff for fun.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? This is a game to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and you're out here emotionally charged behind so much crazy rhetoric, right? And it's like, okay, and if you are, and this is for my community. There's so many pro-black guys that are in women that they're pro-black from the couch of their homes. You know what I'm saying? They're not active in the community. And then they'll say, oh, well, I participated in, let me give you an example, BLM march or so-and-so. Well, you ain't on ground zero. And I have this discussion with a friend of mine. He's like, yeah, I did all these things. And I said, well, that's not ground zero because the community is right here. When the last time you've been through LA? In March. When the last time you've been down there and gave some in ground? Don't do it from Sherman Oaks. Mm-hmm. Don't do it from Studio City.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You need to come in a community where it's predominantly, you know, the real shit is going down. So you can understand the difference of why my approach is different than yours. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Like you're out here in these areas where it's safe and and then you do like a little march here and there and cool. And obviously, no, come to this community, man, and start from here, ground zero. But you won't come down here. But you pro-black and you do all these other things. But you don't come where they really need you the most and do anything. Yeah. And I live in this thing right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm connected to this. That's the difference between me and him is you've never been here.
Yeah.
You've only been on outskirts in nice areas. You know what I'm saying? And then you're pro-black from your couch. You know what I'm saying? And you're not showing up when legislation times. You're spreading rhetoric, and they like to post these. When people actively start getting into this posting for or against, law, and like I said, everybody choose their own side. But when you start doing that, you're painting a picture that meshes. And like I said, these people get emotionally charged and they lose their life behind it. Yeah. So every time you post something that's crazy, know that you could be affecting somebody to go out here and get emotionally charged because they don't have that the mindset to know the difference in between what is conducive for your health and what is not. See what I'm saying? So like it's easy to target uneducated people, oppressed people that are just looking for hope and give them anything. See what I'm saying? Like It's easy to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're already like, I'll just do anything at this point because I've been in pain so long. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that part you have to be careful of, especially if you're sitting from your house in Sherman Oaks in a nice area and you're posting things or grabbing, stuff like that and putting it out there. See what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, you don't know that these kids, that's like suicide rate and stuff like that, right? Like It's very simple and easy. They were saying how ChatGPT has, obviously helped kids do the suicide thing now, right? And it's just that simple, right? Here it is. A machine is actually responsible for helping this kid, commit suicide, right? Because that shows you how oppressed that mind was, or weak, or damaged, or traumatized, that it just took what a machine said and believed it and took it and used it. And that's what's going on in the community today, man. I'm telling you, man, it's insane, bro.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Well, Tanc, man, I appreciate you sharing, bro, and coming on and putting a positive message on it. We're going to do it again. I don't know if there's anything you want to lead the people with as far as like your social media, some of the stuff you got going on, any events you got coming up or.
Yeah, King Tanc, man, tap in, KINGTANC. Definitely watch the documentary. Stay tuned for the movie. We have, our brand, California Ice Protein. Tap in with them, man. The movement is big, man. I mean, come get you a healthy treat, man. Especially if you're into fitness and working out. It's a game changer. It's a meal replacement. We don't use sugar. We use monk fruit and allulose. 200 macro count per bar. 4 or 5 different flavors. You can't beat that, man. And stay tuned, man, because like I said, man, I'm gonna build this platform up, and when I really get my money right, I'm coming for all you kids out there that want a way out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That want something different than what you've been receiving from, especially like old heads like me. And if you watch the documentary and you follow me, you'll see that if I can do it, anybody can. You know what I'm saying? I'm like Trump with them 26 felonies. And I got so many felonies, and I'm actually making it. You know what I'm saying? But I put that life behind me, and I'm changing, and have my investments, my strategies. It's not that hard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it isn't, man. I turn hustles out of anything, man. I've since I've been home, man. Especially like with YouTube University, I can't even tell you how many things, just the basic things. I'm like, yo, I can make money off of this. You know what I'm saying? Like doing the epoxy floors. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Vested equipment, and I do that now here and I make money. Listen, I was walking dogs when I came home to make money. You know what I'm saying? There was no limit to where my hustle is. Mm-hmm. I never go, I'm too big and bad for that. I'll take it. Listen, like King is in New York. He said, if a nickel bag was sold in the park, I won't in on it.
I remember that. He
said, if a nickel bag is sold in the park, I won't in on it. And that's how I treat this hustle, man. And hustle is good because it keeps you on your toes, right? And also, you want to keep that fire on your ass at all times. That's you know what I'm saying? You don't never want to get comfortable. When you get comfortable, then you just let things be. And then when something happens, you're not ready. So when bad things happen, I lose money or this or that, I got the fires on me, and so it doesn't bother me. I'm like, oh, okay, oh well, I'll just go get, this hustle over here and to replace that. Or obviously this business isn't doing as good. Okay, well, I got this one over here and I got that one. So you're hedging your bets like you do in the market, like you do in your investment portfolio. You got to hedge your bets on both sides. You know what I'm saying? And you got to keep something grounded and get you some real estate, if nothing else, man. Like if you can't think that far, get you some real estate. Become your own bank, you know, and understand how the world thinks. When I see the news, I don't see racist and black or white and all these things. I see where to invest money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I see what's going on in the Middle East, when I see what's going on in these countries and I see what's happening, I'm like, oh, okay, let me look up this area, energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You know, a coin.
Yeah.
You know, this was going on right here. Politics is saying that. If you get emotionally tied into it, Warren Buffett said that, you're going to lose. If you get emotionally tied to what's going on in you know, as far as like politics and everything, you're going to lose. You might lose your life. You can't get emotionally charged. You got to sit back, relax, pay attention. What's really going on? Because what you see on the news is fake. All of it is fake now. It's just for ratings. It's for likes. If it is, you have to investigate everything. Anytime they give you something, I don't care if it's a shot. I don't care if it's a book. I don't care if it's anything. Question it. That's it. You know, question everything you get now. Question and then empathize with both sides and say, I always do that. That's another thing that I use when I'm dealing with any situation. I put myself in the other person's shoes and I say, how would I look at that? You know what I'm saying? Instead of me just saying, oh man, you know, I can't stand this person for whatever. But I always empathize, right? On both sides so I can get enough data to make a conscious and positive decision from reality what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I look at the laws the same way. I look at what's going on. And I put my side in both shoes. American people, this, you know, this situation going over there. Okay. You know, and there's some things you're not going to like on either side of it. You're never going to find one president, one mayor, one governor, one whoever. I don't care if it's in your church, that somebody's perfect. You just got to, even in your relationship, right? Like your wife or your girlfriend, you're never going to find a perfect girl. That's what's made between us. I got to say, you know, process of elimination. What's most important, right? Well, it's important for me to have a woman that is this, that is solid and is grounded, and you know, it's great with my kids and be a good mother. Yeah, obviously, if she is not the most beautiful, okay, I'm okay with that. If she's has some things that she does on the side that it does, I'm okay with it, right? Or if she's not perfect, okay with it, right? Because I'm not perfect, right? But I'm going to make sure that the basic fundamentals of what I need in my life is there, and that's it. You're never going to find anybody perfect, man. That's right. And that's it, man. Moving forward, man. All the time, Big Herc. You know how we do.
I appreciate it, man. King Tanc, Big Herc 916, fresh out. You know how we do it. Hit that like and subscribe, share the channel.